I want to switch gears, Cameron.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, they're coming around. I don't know if you know this.
Yes. Madeline Campbell. Madeline Campbell had the first 25 under 25. Just the people who missed the cut.
Ooh.
The honorable mentions. Yeah. What
I want to get to that. I also want to ask you something. The Flyers power play has been anything but for the last number of years, let's be honest. But last two really stick out. Last year, the Flyers were 31 for 254 in the power play for a god-awful 12.2%.
Jesus.
Last year, they were 15%. You think, oh, all right, some improvement here. But what if I told you that the Flyers only scored one more power play goal last year on simply 40 less opportunities? So they were 32 of 214 last season as opposed to being 31 of 254 in 23-24. Does that dim you a little bit? You know, like...
Yeah. Also, like, I'm not shocked. You know? That makes any sense? Like, I'm just like, that is upsetting. I did not know that. That's upsetting.
I took some wind out of your sails on that one.
But also, like, I also watched the team last year, you know? So it's also just like, yeah, they did look like they sucked every time we pretty much watched them. So, like, it's not surprising, you know? But it is, like, it's one of those things that people bring up a lot, right? Where it's like, we talk about, with a team like this, you talk about the improvements from day one to day two. You're not talking about, hey, they didn't want to stay in the cup, because they're not going to. You talk about what did improve. And a lot of people bring up the power play. Went from 12 to 15%. And that's only with Michkov. That's what I hear all the time. That's only with Michkov. That's true. Not as much now, apparently. That's tough. Only one more goal. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
And
also, it makes me think of all the times that, like, Philly was on the power play and then just did some dumb shit. And now we're on 4-on-4s. And it's like, how often did that happen? And I don't know. I don't know. I might just be angry. But
how many times?
Yeah.
And it's going to happen again this year, Cameron, and I know I'm going to get angry.
Mm-hmm.
How many times we're going to watch them on the power play where they can't even execute a zone entry. They just can't. It's just what it is.
Michkov.
Michkov and maybe Zagreus?
He says he doesn't want to dump it. He's like, I don't like dumping it.
Well,
I'm not about dumping it. I like carrying it in. I like that. I
mean, I would say take the straitjacket off of him a little bit if I'm Rick Tocchet and let him go let him go. Listen, the last head coach, who I idolized for years to become a Flyers head coach, and then when he finally did, it was, fool's gold. We'll see if Rick Tocchet can be better at unleashing a power play in Philadelphia, and Michkov's going to have to be at the forefront of that. But with Zagreus as well, he's another big time. Jamie Drysdale, Zagreus. You have obviously Michkov. You still have Konechny, who's a productive player for sure. Productive player.
Yeah.
And also, Cameron, you mentioned the 25, the top 5 under 25, because our very own Madeline Campbell from Broad Street Hockey went through and gave some honorable mentions who are the young players that are just on the outside of this list. And I have to say, Maddie does such a great job because she does a great job like covering like the younger guys. She did great like kind of draft analysis when we went over that a few months ago.
She's big with the Phantoms as well. For those that don't know her, don't visit our website. First of all, if you're not visiting the website,
what are you doing?
What are you doing? How dare you? But no, she's big with the Phantoms. If you're ever in the mood or in the need, and you're like, I need to know Phantom shit, Madeline Campbell's the one.
Maddie Campbell definitely, and also she honestly makes me feel so much better about the farm situation, or at least I feel more informed about the farm situation after reading her stuff.
It's not a monster in the closet, you at least know what you're dealing with.
But guys like Carson Dolwart, are mentioned here. Matthew Gard, center. Alex Chernak, Heikki Ruohonen. If I'm saying that wrong, I do apologize. And honestly, though, Cameron, the Flyers draft seemingly went really well. Like, on paper, we were all kind of satisfied with what the Flyers got. And it was like, oh, okay, so the Flyers, all right, so, they're listening to their scouts a little bit. This wasn't, with the Luchenko draft, everyone was just like, that's a reach. We're not thrilled with that one. This year was like a different feel. And when I talk about, the reason I mentioned like the top 25, under 25 is because this is a young Flyers team. And we're going to see a lot of cool things, I think, in the preseason. I almost am more excited about the preseason, Cameron, than I am the regular season, just because I know we'll have a chance to see younger players in the preseason and see what they look like. Chief among them, will Jet Luchenko do enough to actually make the team and stick with the team this year?
Yeah, especially him, considering the signings that they did make, and they kind of have a full lineup almost. So it kind of almost makes it a little bit tougher for him too. So it's like if he's able to push that extra bit and make the team, that would be really really rad. Kind of same with Mikhail Grabenkin as well. I'm very interested to see how he does. But no, you're right, dude. That's exactly kind of like I don't know exactly. I know we're gonna discuss it a little bit later on, but like I know Broad Street's going to be doing a lot of stuff on the YouTube channel in terms of the 25 under 25, some live stream stuff like that, which I'm really really excited about. And for the exact reason you just mentioned, which is the young team. Like there are a lot of the best players in the team are going to be on this list, which is kind of saying something. Which is kind of stinks because you're like a lot of these are prospects, but it makes it very exciting for the future, and it makes preseason actually something to watch, like you just mentioned, because you are going to see names that you can actually recognize, and you will be able to recognize within a couple of years. And what's also really cool is that like a lot of these players seem to really, really understand all of this because of the transparency with the front office. Was reading an article again with Porter Martone and him why he went to go back to Michigan State went to Michigan State instead of trying to make the team possibly. And his whole thing was, I think the quote was, I wanted to do whatever is best for me 5 to 10 years down the line when we're going to be competing for a Stanley Cup. And the fact that at his age now, just being drafted by the team, he's had this discussion with the front office, and that is his mindset. The fact that kind of all these guys at the age that they are all on the same page there, it makes this entire process extremely exciting. It's kind of one of the highlights of our season, which sucks. But I don't know. We always joke the 2 to 3 years away, but it's just, I don't know. This feels a little bit different, and maybe I'm just naive. But I think it starts here with the 25 under 25. What's up?
We talk about like, what will Flyers fandom finally return to glory? ESPN made a sports misery index that actually was covered. Does ESPN Sports Misery Index accurately reflect Flyers fans' agony? This was Ryan Gilbert who posted this just a few days ago on the 15th. And I just, as you were talking, I decided to pull up the misery index. Now, 100 being the most miserable. And I put in, I'm a Flyers fan of 15 plus years. I started rooting for this team in 2004. My first season watching them. Good year to watch the Flyers, by the way. They went all the way to the Eastern Conference Final. It's my favorite team, my favorite Flyers team ever. And they got an 86 out of 100 on the misery scale. 6. Now, I just want to delete them real quick. I just want to see what the Philadelphia Eagles get. I get they're a 0.
Yeah, you're on top of the world,
right? Okay, hold on. Now let's try.
Put the Phillies. What about the Phillies?
We're gonna put the Phillies in, okay?
Yeah.
Now
on the up and up.
Phillies,
NLCS champs from 5 years ago, within the last 5 years.
20 on misery rating. But
that feels accurate.
Now, here's where it needs to come into play. How about the Philadelphia 76ers?
God, it's got to please be higher. If it's not higher than the Flyers, I'm going to be upset.
The Flyers got an 86. The 76ers get an 88.
Oh, thank God. Yeah. Because as a Sixers fan, I'm more angry with them, which is saying something. Because I cover this team, so it's torture.